2007, Mexican archaeologist Guillermo de Anda found a cave like no other. Following clues in the records of 17th century Spanish priests that hinted at the existence of a mysterious underground Mayan temple deep in the jungle.
The reason why the Spanish priests always are the ones, or the Spanish conquistadors, just like the case with the last time it was Spanish priests, they come into these places and find these people and murder them. Like I said, and stole all the gold and turned them into good-ass Catholics. That's the reason why they are the last ones who can say they don't know what happened to the people. I'll tell you what the people are. They're running around now named Maria Gonzalez, Hector Gomez and shit. All that stupid shit. That's what happened to them. The Spanish conquistadors came over here, killed their parents, collected all the children, and grew them up to be good Jesus-loving Catholics. And then taught them to hate their own blackness. And don't ever get along with other black people, because you need to love white man Jesus, and when it's your name spelled that way, you say Jesus. This is ridiculous. Bullshit, earth destruction, brainwash, control, greed, and wickedness is what all that is.
De Anda found a series of caves near the village of Tatzibichan. Caves not seen for hundreds of years, and with entrances submerged beneath centuries of floodwater.
Sometimes we have to dive into these caves. Sometimes they go very deep. The average of our research is about 140, 150 feet, but we know of caves much deeper than that.
At first, De Anda and his team found carved stone heads and broken pillars with 1900-year-old Mayan inscriptions.
We have found columns under the water, and these columns are amazing because some of them are 5 feet high and at least 10 feet wide.
But as De Anda surfaced in the dry areas of the cave, he found what he believed to be the remains of a massive underground temple complex, including a concrete road, a crumbled pyramid, and bones. But why was it here?
The Mayans themselves have a very intriguing legends of an underground world called Xibalba. And it's believed now by archaeologists that what they found is what the Mayans thought was the entrance to this legendary underground world that features prominently in the Popol Vuh.
Could this dark and mysterious cave really be the underground world mentioned in the Mayan legends? According to the Popol Vuh, the written record of Mayan mythology, the underworld kingdom of Xibalba, meaning the place of fear, was ruled by the cruel lords of the dead, who made those who entered their realm pass through a series of torture chambers involving blood, darkness, cold, knives, bats, and jaguars.
See, it's all lies. That these people was not about that. That is not what they were about, okay? Because if that's what they were about, they never would have had time to be building these structures. They, like the Europeans, would have been busy leaving a legacy of conquering all over the planet. But you don't see that about them. Otherwise, they would not have got conquered by the Europeans. The Europeans were the people who went around the world conquering the light bearers, the children of the light. Thus am I. I get my divine information from the light. And it tells me you do not murder people and steal their shit. It's real simple. You're not going to go around the world and destroy these people and destroy their civilization and then have the nerves to turn around and scorn them and tarnish them and say they were the people that had the barbaric tendencies that you brought over here with you. If they were so damn barbaric, how barbaric must you had to be the one to enslave them and conquer them? Now come on, think about that.
We see here in this one archaeological spot an actual physical representation of what the Mayans felt the soul had to go through.
Might perhaps this cave of stalactites, sharp enough to pierce flesh, represent the room of knives in the Popol Vuh? There is also a room of bats, and a trench that might once have been filled with blood, like the river of blood that Mayan pilgrims had to cross over. There are places of cold and darkness, and even a room with the bones of jaguars.
Now, did you see that headgear of that Mayan? Let me show you. Let's go back and look at that. Okay, look at this.
An actual physical representation of what the Mayans felt the soul had to go through.
Might perhaps this cave of stalactites, sharp enough to pierce flesh, represent the room of knives in the Popol Vuh? There is also a room of bats, and a trench that might once have been filled with blood, like the river of blood that Mayan pilgrims had to cross over. There are places of cold and darkness, and even a room with
This is what I mean.
way to an underground city thousands of years old.
30,000 people used to live underground at their
Excuse me.
One from the
in the Popol Vuh.
could this dark and mysterious
Say, I think it's all the other way around. We believe that we have found the particular shape above the central part of Yucatan. This is why we do believe it was a real place.
But if Xibalba is real, were the lords of the dead
Lords of the Dead. That looks like a sun disk to me. Do you see? And there's the spiral. You know, it's just all so synonymous. You know what I mean? I mean, you can see that. It's so weird. So how the Incas, it seemed to me, or the Mayans, whatever you want to call them, they were telling the story of death. That's what this is, a death of the sun people. Because as you can see, just like they showed the sun frowning, the son was sad because they knew that his children were being mistreated by the Europeans. And as now, the Incas themselves, as you want to call them that, they drew the same thing, a sad sun face. There it goes right there. They knew the white man was bringing death and decay also. And that's what all this is. He ain't going to tell you that, but I'll tell you. Because they always showing the sun being sad and gloomy looking. And this is definitely the sun. Those are sun rays right there. Okay? And they showing the sun looking really sad because of what has happened on the earth to her children.
also real? And if so, who or what were they?
There's the true original colors. See? Now he gonna say who or what were they. Well, you can see. Look at the big nose. Okay? Look at the skin. Synonymous with melanation, as I was telling you, to receive information from the sunlight. So they know who or what were they. We already know. They were the people that you all came over here and murdered and said they were niggas and colors and blacks and never amounted to anything, but they left civilization all over the Americas, and you lie and say you don't know what they are, but then they're synonymous and look just like the structures you live in, and we all supposed to walk around the earth and be stupid as hell and never be able to put it together that, wait a minute, all these structures are here and they look just like the structures we live in, so who are the people that built these? Because the white man said he didn't build them, so that means that someone is trying to hide something from us. Let me help you out. These people right here were the master builders here in the Americas. They are the cousins of the master building black man that was in Africa. We are all one family. Even though we had our differences about things or how we received information from the sun by a different location on the planet, we were able to manifest different type of information. Synonymous, similar, yet different, and small, minute traces. The European male went to both places and found us here willing to help him and took advantage of us and enslaved us and murdered us all and raped our women and created a group of mulatto races of people all around our planet, Mexicans, Arabs, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, all these different names that ain't nothing but a mixture of the white man melanin recessive and come back to more recessed, the melanated people that hasn't been 100% recessed. That's what the whole plan is, to make everybody be as recessed and melanin ridden as the freaking albino white man himself, because what he wants to do more than anything is not die alone, and he know his whiteness is death and decay. So he wants the same thing for all of these people and their women. So he lies and try to act like they never contributed anything, so he can steal that birthright as being the sole possessor of the planet through God. So he created white Jesus to look like him and be portrayed as God. So people look like this to think it's all right for him to have ownership over everything, and for you to have to pay him rent, and for your children that's born to have to pay him rent. And everybody on the earth should have to pay him to live on the earth forever because he is God. But he's not, because the true God is the Son. S-U-N, but Son. Not S-O-N, criminal white man. Devil.
According to the Chilam Balam book, which is the book of the Jaguar priests, it says in there that at that time, the road to the stars descended from the sky.
The road to the stars ascended from the sky. That's sunlight. Sun rays are the road to the sky. Because even the UFOs that you see flying around is emanations of light. And they're emanations of sunlight. And they can take on manifestations of metal, just like sunlight take on manifestations of metal here on the earth that we know is gold.
And the 13 and 9 gods came to
13 and 9 gods, okay? Look at them, all black on the walls. Look at this one right here. This is the land of the gods that we know of as the Yeshuas and all that other stuff like that. They stole all the stories and placed them in the Middle East and put them all around their holy lands that they call their holy lands. The stories not being synonymous with that region of the earth. That region of the earth had no temples or anything. All plagiarized lies and story. Our stories that we had used as a way of describing our universe and how it works. And also manifestations of light energy encapsulated in personification that come to explain things, thus as myself. Asara Satapara Ma'ad.
earth. I'm sorry. Road to the stars descended from the sky. Can it be more clear? I don't think so. Right there we have a direct reference to...
Okay, we can see right here, time travel encapsulated inside of a space vessel or a space traveling vessel where he does not have any headgear on, meaning that it is climate control throughout the whole vessel. I'm talking serious technology when here today, every astronaut you see going into space has to have that helmet on. This guy just chilling. You feel me? So this is the stuff that they found in the walls, but they can't show you the building that they found this in. They'll show you this, but they won't show it to you on the temple wall. And this is a hieroglyph, synonymous like the hieroglyphs on the pyramid walls in Africa. And these are called the Omag people. And if you spell my name backwards, Cameo, it spells Omag. And I tell you, my spirit makes me feel like I reign between the Americas and Africa and India all the time. I haven't been to India or I haven't been to Africa in this life, but I plan on doing that. Please believe it.
Someone that has arrived from outer space, and we have a written record about this.
See the nose broken off. Always destroy the nose to hide the African features. You see? That's what it's always about with them.
Put the lords of Xibalba and other Mayan gods.
All these artifacts are in white people museums. No black museums have any of this stuff. They came in and murdered all the people and took all this stuff and just claimed it for themselves. You can go all over Europe and find this stuff in their museums, owned by them. And I mean, they have no remorse and don't feel 1 ounce of guilt for the theft. Not 1 ounce at all.
Really have been extraterrestrial travelers? If so, why did they display such a thirst for blood and torture?
Because the white man told that lie. We have no proof that these people did this outside of him. We know what he did. We know he's always went around the earth murdering people and being the bloodthirsty savage that he is still at war today. So my answer to your question is